be honest, I wish it were as simple as just moving the three-point line back, because then we would just do it.
You can't ask me who's the GOAT between LeBron and Michael. Neither one of them are GOATs.
LeBron James recognizes he won't ultimately become an owner of an NBA franchise.
Who won that trade? Who won that trade? I was bad goods.
A lot is going on in the NBA right now, and the weekly recap simply can't cover it all. Therefore, I'm introducing The GOAT Show, a supplemental episode that aims to help you catch up on some of the juiciest things happening in the league right now. Fans across the league are side-eyeing the NBA's love affair with the long ball. The vibe? Enough already. Let's face it, nobody's saying the three-pointer is bad, but when 41.4% of all shots are coming from behind the arc, it starts to feel like everyone's playing a glorified game of horse. Fans have had enough.
Trae Young! Oh!
Well, they're going to look at it, but that's what he does, Butler. That is what he does.
And NBA Commissioner Adam Silver knows it. He recently addressed the complaints, saying the league is considering changes to fix the issue. But instead of offering quick fixes, Silver dropped the basketball equivalent of a TED Talk, saying,
So I think we just got to be careful. Like, the one thing I want to do is, I don't want to sort of knee-jerk move the three-point line. We're sort of going through a process now, seeing how these players are adapting to the new rules and figuring out if whatever changes we should make. I mean, to be honest, I wish it were as simple as just moving the three-point line back, because then we would just do it. I mean, part of the concern from the basketball folks is that if you move the three-point line back, you'll end up sort of just clogging up, the sort of the area under the basket. And that's not such attractive basketball either.
Translation? It's complicated, y'all. Adjusting the three-point line isn't just about making shots harder. It's a ripple effect that would alter the entire geometry of the court. Suddenly, drives to the basket, spacing, and ball movement all get thrown into chaos. Speaking of LeBron, because apparently we can't talk about basketball without mentioning him, Maverick Carter, his longtime buddy and business partner, is advising a group of investors who want to create an international basketball league. They're looking to raise $5 billion to launch 6 men's and 6 women's teams that'll travel the world playing in different cities. It's basically basketball meets Coachella, and honestly, I'm intrigued. But here's the spicy part. Stephen A. Smith had thoughts.
But when I saw this story, the first thing that jumped to my mind was one of two things. LeBron James recognizes he won't ultimately become an owner of an NBA franchise, or he wants the NBA to think about what he can do if they don't acquiesce and ultimately let him become the owner of an NBA franchise down the line.
Brian Windhorst added his 2 cents, noting that while this is ambitious, it's not exactly NBA competition yet.
There's really 2 things going on. One is the global basketball aspect of this, and one is the LeBron aspect. Let me do the global basketball one. That's a little bit simpler. There is no league that is going to exist that is going to rival the NBA. That is an interesting headline. It's an interesting ambition.
Still, one juicy wrinkle could change everything. Equity for players. Imagine a league where athletes aren't just getting paid to play, they're getting a slice of the pie. That kind of money talk could turn heads. On the other side, Steph Curry is the gift that keeps on giving, not just on the court, but in how he approaches life. Recently, he spoke about eventually stepping away from the game.
This is not going to be around forever, and to enjoy every minute of it, because soon we're going to be, we're not going to be the bitter old heads. Can we all agree on that? We're not going to be the bitter old heads that coming back hating on the younger generation. But definitely appreciation and admiration for what they're able to do too.
And honestly, that tracks. Steph spent years listening to retired players blame him for ruining basketball, as if he showed up to every YMCA court and forced people to jack up 30-footers. Now he's out here saying he won't be the salty old dude yelling "back in my day" at highlight reels. But leave it to Kyrie Irving to spice up a trade recap, reflecting on the move that sent him from Brooklyn to Dallas. He said,
"Best trade in the business, baby." Who won that trade? Who won that trade? I was bad goods.
Bad goods might be the understatement of the century. Kyrie's Brooklyn tenure had more plot twists than a daytime soap opera. One minute he's crossing over defenders, the next he's crossing over PR departments. But hey, at least he's self-aware enough to admit it. Jimmy Butler can't seem to stop collecting drama like it's a new hobby. Responding to the endless buzz about why he's always at the center of chaos, Butler said,
"But it was a lot said by everybody. except for me, to tell you the truth. So we'll let people keep talking like they know everything, like they have all the answers. And then sooner or later, the whole truth will come out. But until then, we will continue to let people talk. And if I'm here, I will get out there and play.
Sure, Jimmy, this isn't your fourth team in, 7 years? And definitely not the fourth time you've had beef with management or teammates. The man treats every locker room like a reality show reunion episode. Still, someone should gift him a mirror for his next birthday, just in case he ever wants to reflect on why this keeps happening. Meanwhile, Heat coach Erik Spoelstra is the anti-Jimmy. The guy exudes professionalism and has the patience of a saint.
And then in terms of silly questions about what's the temperature of the room or how everybody's feeling, that just sounds so dramatic. We're professionals, we're fine, we're ready for tonight's game. That's the only thing that matters. So that's basically it.
Spo is what happens when talent meets emotional intelligence. But before LeBron James became the king, he was just a 16-year-old phenom with a baby fro, trying not to hyperventilate while playing pickup with Michael Jordan.
You know, my favorite player of all time, man, it was like, this can't be real, man. If you pinch me, man, I was like, please, I hope I don't wake up.
LeBron recently opened up about this legendary game. The nerves were real.
I was on the court with Michael Jordan, Antoine Walker, Penny Hardaway, Ron Artest, Michael Finley, all these guys.
Who guarded you?
Nobody. I was unguardable. Listen, I was 16. I was in high school sophomore. There's
was 16 the baby fro?
Yep, that was the baby fro. Yeah. I was in Chicago, MJ's court. It was called Hoops. There's a clip out right now of the Meta World Peace talking about that moment as well. When I finally got out there, I was like, I'm busting ass, man. I was nervous as hell, being out there with MJ and the rest of those guys. But I was like, I'm about to go crazy. And I did, man.
That's awesome, man.
I did.
That's awesome.
Meanwhile, Scottie Pippen is out here throwing curveballs into the GOAT debate. When asked to pick between Michael Jordan and LeBron James, Scottie basically said, neither.
You can't ask me who's the GOAT between LeBron and Michael. Neither one of them are GOATs. They both won differently. You can't put them at the top of the pinnacle. Magic Johnson, to me, is a bigger GOAT than anybody because of how he led, how he brought a whole team, how when the greatest scorer in the game, Kareem, was not there, and him as a rookie
center
steps in and plays a position that no one even knew he could play. That's transcending what you can do as a player.
Now this is peak Scottie. The man won 6 championships alongside MJ. But he's never been afraid to go against the grain. While the world debates Jordan versus LeBron, Scottie's over here flipping the script like, y'all are missing the point. Magic's the real GOAT. Jalen Green's game has always screamed star potential. But consistency, yeah, that nagging word, has been his Achilles heel. This season, though, the man is cooking. Over 10 games in January, Green's numbers are looking straight out of a video game. 30.2 points per game on 52% from the field, 48% from 3, and 92% from the line. That 48% from deep, it's not like he's throwing up a few wide open looks. We're talking over 9 attempts a game. That's Steph Curry territory. If this isn't a breakout, then I don't know what is. Now, if Green keeps this heater going, the Rockets don't just become good, they become dangerous. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves yet. While Jalen Green's 3-ball is straight up poetry right now, we've gotten so used to seeing siblings face off in the NBA, it's starting to feel like a mandatory league requirement. You've got the Currys, the Thompson twins, the Martin twins, the Holidays, and the Christies. It's practically the NBA family feud. But the recent one was special. We got to witness a showdown over 3 years in the making. LaMelo Ball versus Lonzo Ball. It wasn't just any brotherly matchup. This one came with a countdown. 1,145 days to be exact. That's so long ago, TikTok was still about dancing and nobody knew what a Wordle was. Lonzo, sidelined by injuries that looked more like an episode of Grey's Anatomy than a career timeline, finally made his comeback. And seeing him out there against his little brother was like the NBA's version of family reunion.